Okay, welcome back into You Have Superpowers Part 2. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for today's conversation because we're taking it deeper today. And so hi to everyone on the recording, and Anushka is here live with me. Um I am I'm so grateful you're all here. So remember, even if you're watching the recording, treat this as if you're live with us. Get your headphones in if you need to. Take notes, like really integrate what we're talking about today. Because there's one thing, it's one thing to come to an event like this and say, yes, I'm gonna do it or whatever, and just listen to it. And there's quite another thing, like we talked a little bit about yesterday, understanding something intellectually and embodying it. It's two different things. And so what really helps me is I like to write or take notes on my computer as I'm listening to things to fully start to integrate it and think a little deeper. Because again, like we talked about yesterday, there's always a new level to understand and kind of unpack. So before we jump in, I want to just remind you of the bonuses that are right now. One you already got for registering if you've registered for the event. If you have not and you're watching on YouTube, just get the link from the description or comment. What do you call that? Caption. And the next one's the share graphic. And then the third one is what's the third one? I like blanked out for a second there. Hold on, let me scroll back. Oh yeah, come to all 3 days live with me. So these are awesome. Jump into those. So yesterday we talked about our own potential, right? Yesterday we talked about our own potential. We decided to be the best of us. We did a little tapping session on deciding this is who I am. I'm choosing to consciously show up as the best of me now. It doesn't matter what happened. Doesn't matter if I was believing I need to heal before I can, like all of that to the side. And we decided, actually, I'm the best of me now. This is happening now. Okay. So I just want to say one more thing before we go close. Those of you that registered, you get a free call with me, and I go to Mexico soon. So I want to talk to you before I go to Mexico. So make sure you book your call ASAP, but not before 11 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. So I want you to catch all three of our sessions, and then let's get on a call and we can talk so we can maximize our time together. So we can really talk about where you are, where you want to go, connect the dots, and there. Okay. So we all have unique gifts. That's what you have superpowers to me means, because we all have something inside of us that is uniquely us. And so just before I pressed record, Anushka and I were talking about how sometimes it's a lot of like like deconditioning or like releasing, letting go of old ideas and old beliefs so that we can really come back to the truth of who we are. So a lot of the work that I do is help people to come home to and turn up the dial on themselves and realize, holy shit, I'm actually really, really awesome. Like I'm great, because we have maybe picked up these tendencies and these beliefs that we're less than, we're not as good as her, we can't do that because XYZ. Okay. So in this room and in my world, we throw those out the window. Okay. They do not exist. We are here as our whole selves, and just being here in this space, in this room, we have decided we're the best selves, and we are intentionally getting better and growing every single day. Okay. And then again, just before I press record, we talked about Anushka said, what would Beyonce do? That's the energy where we want to be in. What would Beyonce do? What would my highest self do? And how would she show up? How would she move? And what decisions would she make? Right? Yesterday we talked a lot about Wallace Wattles' quote, right? Your thoughts are the magnetic power that draws everything you desire to you. Your actions make you open to receive. Okay. So without embodied action, we don't have a business. Okay. And I think that it took me a long time to realize the full everything, the full depth of that. Okay. Because it's really easy for us to fill our calendar. it's really easy for us to be busy, right? And to tell ourselves we have a business, or to even, yeah, just be busy, 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 especially living in our society where being busy is almost like praised, right? It's like, you're not busy, you're lazy. Work's got to tire you out. You got to do more. Okay. That's a very masculine way of existing. And it's exhausting and it leads to burnout. And it doesn't always feel good. Right. So I personally am so grateful that I don't have to check in at a certain time for an employer, right? As an employee, because then if there's a day where I'm like, well, I just want to have a family day, like they're gonna say no, So I very much am. Today we're going to talk about this masculine and feminine a little bit more, right? But we need the action, but it's a certain type of action. Okay. So today we're going to talk about how to become a magnet for our one as the one and take the right action, so that we're not just taking action busy, because honestly, it is kind of pleasing sometimes to be busy, right? It's nice, especially as a mom. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm busy in my own work, and then time goes by and the results don't come, the money doesn't come, the exchange doesn't come, and it gets exhausting. And that's when we start to question and start to get frustrated. It's because we've been taking the wrong action. Okay. We've been taking the wrong action. So I personally teach and coach my students and clients to start their business. I'm not worried about sales pages, websites, like even professional photos. That's not the right action. When you first start your business, you need to be focused on different action, which we're going to talk about in a second here. Okay. So now, since yesterday, we know where we want to go. Well, possibly prior to, but you know where you want to go, right? You've got that pin on the map. That is not a final destination, obviously. That is a first stop. Okay, that's where. So we went yesterday from, oh, this is what I would love, to holy shit, it's happening, because we realized that it's on our timeline. And the more that we can take those steps forward and get ourselves in spaces like this, we can quantum leap our lives and collapse that timeline. So that holy shit, it's actually happening. Like, it can happen. Your business could go from an ideation into a profitable business by next Monday, right? And it's all upon next. I'm going to show you how. All right, so next we need our vehicle. We need our vehicle. So this is something that it took me, again, a little bit to grasp, because like I mentioned yesterday, we like to, as women specifically, a lot of us like to get into the feminine, into even the embodiment, into the imagination, visualizing what my life is going to be like, how's it going to feel, what's it going to look like. We can exist there. And then we walk around throughout our day, exist of, holy shit, it's happening. Okay. That is great. That is great. Okay. But it's not bringing the results. Okay. And I personally firsthand experienced this multiple times, and with clients and students. Okay. So why isn't it bringing the results? Because we don't have the action. We're not taking the action to make it happen, like we talked about yesterday. So we around and wait for a bag of money to hit us over the head. Yeah, woohoo, it's here. I'm finally, like, I've been existing in the delusion for a year, and finally this bag of money fell out of the sky. No, like, we don't want that, obviously. Okay, we get to make it happen. And so the law of compensation states, this is one of the universal laws, the law of compensation states that you'll be compensated based on the need for what, how good you are at it, and your ability to be replaced. Okay, the need for what you do, how good you are at it, and your ability to be replaced. Okay, so normally, okay, let's just say, who decides these things? Okay, who decides that there's a need for what you do? Who decides how good you are at it? And who decides your ability to be replaced or not? Okay, normally, most people look for outside world to determine those things and to tell them how good they are at it, or to show them, or to, like, a lot of people, I actually, like, it kind of makes my skin crawl when people do like market research. I'm like, ooh, for me that doesn't work. Okay, maybe it works for you, but looking for things, like the need for what you do in the whatever online space or market research or whatever, makes me feel really out of alignment. Okay, so who decides these things in the world? In this space, we decide. Okay, so we get to decide, do we believe that there is a need for what we offer? Do we believe we're good at it? And do we believe that we are unique and irreplaceable? Okay, and so this is where our superpowers come in again. This is where all we need to do is be ourselves. Okay, because then we don't even think about niching down. We don't even think about the algorithm. We don't even think about, what was the other one? A lot of people are focused on, like, oh, I don't even remember right now, but okay, so if we are in our own power, 110% living from within, following our intuition, allowing it to guide us, and only doing what feels fun to us. And if something doesn't feel fun, we ask our why, and we say, what would feel fun? Okay, and we do that. We are the algorithm. We are the strategy. That was the other one. A lot of people are looking, I need a strategy. I need like the magic formula that's going to get me to 5K, 10K months. Guys, you are the strategy. You are the strategy. You are the algorithm. You are the niche. And something that's really cool when we're in that realm is that there's no competition. Because we are a multidimensional human being with so many moving parts, right? We can agree that we have so many ideas, so many things we're passionate about, so much wisdom, so much experience to share, that we can't possibly nail it down to one little box. Okay, this used to derail me. This used to leave me questioning myself because I thought I needed to fit my entire self into an Instagram bio, right? Like, I thought I needed to get so clear on, like, my, like, essence of what, and I realized I was like, I can't. Okay, like, I'm just gonna be me, and I'm just gonna be the best of me, and I'm just gonna follow what feels freaking good, and I'm gonna roll with that. And guess what happened? Everyone in my community, everyone that comes into my events or is in my mastermind, like, is totally aligned. Okay, and this is what I'm going to teach you to do in a little bit here. Everyone who reads my posts probably reads them to the end, okay, because probably people read them. And when people read them, I am speaking to just one person, which we're going to talk about in a second. So the women that are meant to work with me read my posts and they're like, how the hell is she in my head? Right? How does she know that about me? Because all I'm doing is being me. Okay, being the best of me, with the understanding that I will continue to evolve and expand and get better, right? And it's okay to change, because my business a year and a half ago looked way different than it does now, right? Way different. So it's okay to change. And in fact, when we brand ourselves as one single thing, it gives me a little bit of like, ooh, because you're, again, it comes back to that like mastery thing. It's kind of an illusion. If you one certain thing, yes, okay, if you absolutely love and are obsessed with that thing, that's great, but give yourself space to grow and expand through it as well and past it. So it's okay to do that, but it's also okay to shift direction and to enhance and to change as well. So right here and now, those of you that are here with me live or on the replay, chances are you already know in your soul what you're here to do. Okay, you're here, like we heard from Anushka and Larissa yesterday, like you're here to own your time, to travel the world, to have an impact, even a global impact, right? To change lives. But I want to go a little bit deeper. Like, what are you here to do? What are you leading with? And it doesn't, again, remember, it doesn't need to be one thing. It can be the essence of what you do. What lights you up? Because this is going to be what you base your business upon. So some of you that are here, you already know, and you've been thinking about this for a little while, and you're just waiting for the opportunity to, not even opportunity, but sometimes we like wait for like timing to be right, or like uh even guidance. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'm just missing a couple pieces. If I know how to do this, this, and this, then I can start my business. Okay, so those of you that are here, some of you are like that. You're like on the edge of your seat, ready to, you're like, I'm ready to jump. I want to blow this up. And I'm so excited. But I don't align with the masculine hustle strategies, figuring it out, reverse engineering, any of that stuff. And that's why you're here. Okay, because you know you have something to come out of you, and you're here to live and create that beautiful life for yourself and everyone you come in contact with, and you're ready to do it your own way. That's why you're here, right? Okay, so what lights you up? Like, what is your essence of what you do? Do you know what your business is going to feel like? What's the vibe going to be? What's the kind of the flavor? Let me know in the chat if you know this already for yourself. Like, if you know, um, let's see. Yeah, like I have branded myself as a embodiment expert, right? Because everything I do is through the lens of manifestation, because it's something I'm just like absolutely obsessed with, and I believe in it so much. And yeah, it's just something really lights my soul on fire. I could talk about it for a whole month without stopping. Okay, so for me, I am really, really obsessed with embodiment and manifestation. And so this is what the core of my business is based upon. Okay, so Anushka wants to feel, her business wants to feel colorful, bright, joy, and play. Yes, amazing. Okay, so what kind of, let's ask another question. What is the transformation that you are going to lead your students or clients through? Okay. Sometimes this has something to do with what you've walked through. Okay, so where you were, it can be a short amount of time ago, it can be a long time ago, and it could also even be what you're currently walking through. It's something that really, like I said, lights you up and excites you. But what is the transformation that you will lead your students or clients through? Okay, is this something that we know? Aware of. These are all great journal prompts, and I'm going to put them right below the recording of this on the replay page as well. From stuck or not feeling, to looking at the bright side of life no matter what is going on. I love that. I love that. Okay, so it is like, let's see. A lot of women that come into my world are in like the self-worth, self-love. What's the other one? It's like just becoming the best of yourself, becoming the best of yourself. So that is basically like a bit of a transformation. So from stuck or not feeling, okay, so I'm going to say one thing here, and this blew my mind. For real, this blew my mind when I started working with my coach I work with now. Like, holy cow, my whole mind was blown. Okay, so when we say we want to take her or them from stuck, not feeling, XYZ, not feeling good, not feeling excited, not feeling like, alive, whatever. We want to take them from there to I'm living my best life. That is quite a journey. And I'm going to say this, and I say it with love. um, people don't move until they're ready to move. Okay. And I want you to even like remember this, because we can't unstuck somebody unless they're ready to get unstuck. And we know this, right? But this is something that my coach said to me, and I was like, holy shit. But there's another side to this. I'm going to keep going. Okay. If someone believes they're stuck, and we've experienced this before, we all know someone in our life that is just like, you're like, how's it going? How's your day? And they're like, oh, I'm just like this, and then like this, and this happened, and then like this asshole, and like, and you're like, holy fuck, like you're just like focused on the stuckness. We all have people in our lives like that, right? And so someone who believes they're stuck is not going to unstuck themselves until they decide it for themselves. Because everything is created from our beliefs. Everything comes from our beliefs. So the moment that that person decides they're not stuck anymore, they will move. Okay, but it's not your job to unstuck them. And so this is what my coach said that blew my mind, is we actually get who we speak to. So instead of speaking to someone who is potentially stuck, we actually can speak to someone who was stuck. And it's that simple, super simple shift in awareness and shift in focus that changes everything. Because you're going to, if you started a business and you wanted to help women who were stuck in their own shit, and you wanted to help them to move onto the bright side and like all these like beautiful things, it would be hard. Okay, I'm just going to say that it would be hard, it would be draining, and I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so instead, let's talk about this. Okay, so this is how we develop magnetic branding, a magnetic business, magnetic energy. This is how we turn on our superpowers for real, is deciding, number one, who we are speaking to. Who we are speaking to. The really cool thing is we get to decide every piece of it. Okay. So if we're speaking to everyone, we know this. We're speaking to no. Okay, it sounds kind of like soft. It sounds a little monotone, maybe a little bit boring. It sounds, I see some people posting, they're like, if you feel XYZ, then maybe XYZ. And I'm like, no, like, tell me how it is. Okay. I want you to say, I know you XYZ. I know this because I've been there, right? Something like this. And then you're thinking XYZ. This is what you're thinking. I know your thoughts. This is why I've created this thing for you. So get in the room. Okay. It's basically like that. Instead of saying, we're kind of like going around the, you know, just kind of like walking on eggshells, like, if you would like to join us, I'm like, no, just get in the room, like, let's do this. Okay, so we got to know who we are speaking to, because if we don't, we're speaking to no one. And so I want you to ask yourself, who is she? Like, not just who is she, but like, what thoughts is she thinking? What is she currently believing? Okay, I'll put these as well in like below the replay, so you can go deeper into these. I'll just put them in here too for you. Okay, so what thoughts does she have? What does she believe? What does she want? What does her day look like? So we don't need to know things like which, yoga studio she goes to. Like, we need to know what's going through her head. Okay, she wakes up on a Monday morning, and what does she think? Is she like, oh, my life, I need to go to work again for this jerk, and like, I just want more than anything to travel the world with my babies, to have demons coming through overnight. Like, I want more than anything to feel alive, right? She thinks of lists. She's busy with other people. Yes, these are all so good. Okay, continue to go deeper and deeper with this. What is she thinking? Because when you know exactly what she's thinking, you get to again, strategy. Like, I am not a strategic person, but I do some things strategically, okay? Like content creation, everything in the back end, okay? Which I'm going to teach you about in a second here. So when we are first, let's say, in our social media content, when we know her thoughts, we can actually act as a doctor per se, right? We can act as a doctor and start to prescribe her thoughts and prescribe her an answer or a solution to her. So it's almost like we act as a doctor. I see, I see you posting on social media. Okay, let me try to use your, okay. I see you waking up on a Monday morning with lists of things to do, and you're always busy and you have all of these responsibilities that don't light up your soul. And all you want more than anything is this, right? Do you see how powerful that is? Social media is a beast and it is busy. So much content on social media that people are scrolling, or maybe they see you somewhere on there, and if your content is speaking to everyone, they're going to continue to scroll by. And if it says, I see you, this is what you're doing, this is what you're thinking, they're going to be like, oh shit, hold on a second, that's me and that is me. Okay. And the more you can get in her head and then give her solutions, your business. You're giving her solutions, opportunities to work with you in a one-on-one setting or a group setting. Okay. And it's going to change her life because let's come back to our superpowers. It's going to feel so good for you and it's going to feel effortless. Okay. It's going to feel effortless. A lot of people say, like, oh, effortless success, you know, kind of get it mixed up with like effortless meaning like we're just sitting around all day like sipping matcha lattes, like doing absolutely nothing. Okay, effortless for me is a flow state. It's a flow state. We are in our business and we're creating content for our one, yes, for our one person, our one person. And it feels exciting. It feels energizing. It energizes us. That's why I started the conversation. Well, we talked about a second ago about if we're speaking to people who believe they're stuck, we're going to be like, why can't you hear me? Just move. Okay. A couple months ago in my membership, I did a month on the nervous system. And I wanted to talk about a little bit tomorrow because when we're in the, like our nervous system has kind of like three different, I'm gonna say like levels. Okay. So we have like our rest and restore, like body is functioning well. But when we have our, you know, in our thoughts, we can actually think clearly and we can dream and we can get excited and we can see what's going to come and we're in our zone, right? But once we're thrown into the fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, our brain doesn't work. Our logical thinking, our ability to dream and perceive does not work. Our digestive system does not work. Our body gets all funny, right? And we're ready to like run. Our heart goes really crazy. And so this is a very hard place to make decisions from and to think anything logically or even many things positively. In some situations, we're usually, when we're saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what to do, we're usually coming from, we're in the parasympathetic, or sorry, the sympathetic nervous system. We're in like that fight or flight. Okay. And so beyond that, there's a third level. And there's actually that level that's like a freeze. And so somebody who feels stuck, this is where depression is. Anxiety tends to happen when people are living in that fight or flight for extended periods of time and your nervous system can't regulate. So you're in that fight or flight and you're like anxious. And that's why when I say like movement, like work your body, move your body, daily exercise, like and vigorous exercise is probably going to really impact your ADHD. Okay. So when we're in that freeze zone, it's really hard for someone to get out of it, you know, unless they're ready to, really. Sometimes when we're in the freeze zone, all we need to do is like rest, right? But positive inspiration is very helpful. That is where depression tends to happen, right? From being in that like freeze. And the freeze is because the nervous system has been in high alert. And then these stories start to come back of, who are you? You're an imposter. What are you doing? You're not even blah, blah, blah. Like, you're not good enough. Look at her. And then we start to spiral and pass the fight or flight into this freeze zone. And we start to believe we're stuck, and we start to get even stucker. Okay. So anyway, that was a rabbit hole. Coming back to our superpowers, like when we're in our zone of genius and we know exactly who we're here to serve, we know exactly the transformation we're leading them through. Holy shit, right? This is when things go crazy. We feel that, right? This is when our business gets to be like, wow, this is exciting. I don't feel like I even have to. Okay. We all want that, right? We all want that. Okay. So this is what we're doing here. So let's talk a little bit more about content creation. So we're speaking directly to her, and we're offering her a solution. We're selling our offer, just like we said. And we're doing it every day. Okay. Maybe maybe for someone who's brand new in your business and you're, oh, I don't know if I could post every day. Like, honestly, once you have an offer, whether it be one-on-one or a group container, selling becomes easy. Okay. And especially, okay, you've got your offer and you've got your one who you're speaking to. Content creation is so easy because you don't have to try to figure out what you're going to post. You know what you're selling and you know who you're selling it to. So get in her head and ask yourself these questions. What thoughts is she thinking right now? What does she need to know? Okay, what would I have done? There's so many different ways and angles. So selling actually is very creative. It's an opportunity for us to get even more creative and playful and excited and in our zone, right? So selling, one of my mentors says, selling is like seduction. It's like flirting. It's like it gets to be that like feminine, yeah, like playful energy. Okay. And so selling happens every single day. If we look at a company like Starbucks or Lululemon, those big, big companies, imagine they just decided, oh, well, yesterday was a slower day, or like nobody, let's see, whatever, like we've been selling too much lately, so we're just gonna like take 2 days off. Imagine imagine Starbucks was like, oh, hey guys, I think we've been selling too much lately, let's close the doors for 2 days. Okay, no, they sell every single day, and selling is a service. Okay, when we switch it from selling as like I'm bothering people or I have to like get clients or try to sell this thing, into I want to help you change your fucking life. Okay, so let's do this. I want you change your life. And I know that working with me is going to blow up your life and your business. There's a different energy there, right? Totally different energy. And so remember the law of compensation. Who decides? Who decides there's a need for what you do? You do. Who decides how good you are at it? You do. And your ability to be replaced. Yeah. Okay. This is landing for you. Like, how does it feel? Um, this is a little bit different than, yeah, than I mean, the internet, you see so many different things. And even in coaching, I just feel so much that like This needs to be more known that people don't need to try to figure out, you know, how to be more strategic or to fix the algorithm or whatever. It's like, how about we just be the best of ourselves, decide who the heck we're speaking to, show up as the best of ourselves now, and speak directly to them, offer them a solution. Bam, there we go. That's how easy it gets to be. Okay, so we tend to overcomplicate. We've all overcomplicated our businesses, right? We've all overcomplicated our lives, all the things. Okay, what if we just simplify it? This is like the core of everything, everything we do in my world. Let's just simplify it, okay? Especially, like I started talking about at the beginning, until you're making consistent 5K reoccurring income every month, you're not doing other things other than what we talked about today. Okay, you're not focused on creating a website. No. Okay, you're not even focused on creating long sales pages. This could potentially be like different information than you've been taught from someone else. But in my opinion, we are here to take the action. Okay, the action is what matters. And we want to take income producing activities, income producing action. We're not focused on those things that don't produce. Right now, all we're focused on in the beginning of your business is what we talked about already, right? Who is she? We talked about who am I? Okay, that's the number one. Who am I? Where am I going? Who am I? Where am I going? How's it going to feel? How can I bring that into my reality now and move accordingly? And then I'm taking action. I'm taking aligned, excited, embodied action, and I'm serving her. Now we know who she is, what she's thinking, what she's calling for, what she wants to do in this world more than anything. And we're prescribing an opportunity for her so that we can help her and support her in changing her life. Okay, I say her, but I mean whoever your ideal client or student is. Okay. And then it comes back to using our own unique superpowers, our essence of who we are, what lights us up in and infusing it in everything we do, in our container, in our one-on-one coaching. Okay. And so let me know if you have any questions. Like, this is the core of everything we do. Okay. And so it is so simple. And I want to say one more thing here. When we are working towards 5K months, which 5K months are totally something that can happen really quickly, we are working on simplifying the process, right? Simplifying everything. And then what happens as we start to post and stay consistent with our posting and selling, what happens is we'll start to refine our message. We'll start to refine who we're talking to, okay? And so most people, I'll say one more thing actually, after 5K months, that's where we get more into refining. That jump from 5K to 15K, let's say, is all about refinement. Bolder. How can I like release and shed even more old beliefs and ideas? Refinement. But right now, it's about taking the boldest, the biggest action. Okay. So this is what I wanted to say. When we stay consistent, and those of you that have been in my world for a little bit, you've heard me say this before. When we stay consistent in our business, and maybe we follow kind of like I don't want to say like the masculine or like older model, but like, let's just say we're staying consistent. Okay. We start our business and we're staying consistent and we start to post every day and we're showing up and we are, checking the boxes. Okay. Consistent energy is good. Like, eventually you'll get to where you want to go. But people in my world want to move faster. We want to, again, catapult ourselves jump that timeline so that we collapse time. Well, how do we collapse time? So instead of staying and like we're okay, yep, like it's eventually it's inevitable, it's coming my way. It's just gonna maybe take a while. Instead of staying consistent, we choose to take the action that Beyonce would take, that our highest self would take. Okay. And what happens when we do? Instead of consistent, like our growth, like maybe a little bit like this, right? A little bit up. We take that bold, scary, like this is something I've never done before, but I know it would blow up my business. Our growth all of a sudden goes like this. Okay. So the universe loves speed. We talked about that yesterday, but we get to choose the pace at which we move. If we want to move, like eventually we'll get there or whatever. I don't think anybody here wants to eventually get there. We want this yesterday, right? Yeah, we're going to just continue to do things, but we don't want that. We want to move faster. So therefore, I want you to think of this like, okay, if I'm starting my business now, I've been ready for a while. It's been like tearing me up inside. It's screaming. It wants to come out. I know I'm here to serve. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to go big. What would she do? What would she do? The version of you who's already got the recurring 5K before the month even starts. Your business is bringing in 5K, 10K, whatever it is. Okay, how would she move? What would she do? That's the action we need to take. Okay, that's the action we need to take. So, I hope all this has been landing. Well, let me know. I think like this will change everything. Showing up and speaking to this person and embodying the full version of ourselves is holy cow. Okay, so before we close off for today, I want to do a little short tapping session on declaring that we are the one for the one and turning on the magnet to attract everything we're calling into us to us. Okay. I just wanted to reiterate one thing before we do, is that it's really easy for us to get stuck in the feminine, right? I just want to say this one more time. It's so easy for us to believe that we're taking action. But we know in our soul, like what's actually going to move our business forward. And that is, posting the offer, for example, selling every day. And it's not just posting or selling, it's doing so in a different energy. So before we started recording, we were talking about how easy it is to fall back into old patterns and old habits. And so when we post, for example, our first posts or whatever, it's really easy for us to say, oh God, like no one's watching, no one's even listening, like I totally messed up, like all the things, like I shouldn't have done that. It's really easy for us to get back into that cycle. Us to realize is that that's going to happen. Okay, that's normal per se, like that happens to everyone. And so I want you to override it right away. As soon as you hear those thoughts of lack or limitation or not enough, it's override it. No, no, no. And continue to override it. And instead of just overriding and saying no, we override it and reprogram with something new. This is my truth. Nope, this is my truth. Okay, it's almost like we see ourselves as like this guy's like the old ideas and beliefs, and he's trying to override. And then this new guy is like, no, this is actually your truth. This is the truth of who you are here to be. And so it's kind of like this battle sometimes it can feel like. So I want you to know that that's common with almost, I'm going to say everybody on this planet. Okay, that's the human The human mind, the mind is a limitation. It not only has limits, but it is a limitation. Okay, the mind only knows what it has learned. Okay, so when we start to learn how to live from the soul, the intuition from the inside out, and this is our superpowers, right? Turning up the dial on us. We learn how to live from there and be guided from there, the mind will start to get loud. But it's easy for us to, I don't want to use the word easy actually, it's possible for us to reprogram it. It's possible to bring the mind onto our side, but there's still going to be times when the mind perceives lack and limitation in some way, shape, or form in our current results. There's always, right? There's always he's looking for something to call out. And so it's up to us to override it again and again and again and reprogram in new ideas. Okay. So when we're ready, let's come to a comfortable seat. We'll do a little short tapping session before we close out today. I want us to roll our shoulders back a few times. Just settling in. And then close your eyes for a moment. You can bring one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Take a deep breath in. Fill the entire body. And exhale through your imaginary straw. Take one more breath like that. And exhale. Okay. Just noticing how you're feeling. Noticing how your body is responding to these ideas we've been talking about today. These new concepts. How is your body feeling about your business? Take one more breath here. Just observing. And when you're ready, we're going to come right to the top of the head, and you can open the eyes if you'd like to. Tapping on the top of the head, just repeating after me and say, today I am declaring, eyebrow point, that I am side of the eyes, the one that I have been waiting for. Under the eyes, the one that people are waiting for, that people have been waiting for. Under the nose, today I'm declaring. Under the mouth, that I'm ready for more. Call points than ever before. Under the arms, I am visualizing. Under the chest, the younger version of me. Wrist points, who has been through a lot. Top of the head, and has got me to where I am today. Eyebrow points. I see her in my imagination. Side of the eyes, and everything she's been through. Underneath the eyes, and I feel so proud of her. Under the nose, so proud of all the work she's done. The mouth, and everything she's been through and experienced. Collarbone point, that's got me to where I am today. Under the arms, now I'm visualizing the woman I know I'm here to be. Under the chest, I see her in all of her beauty, wrist point, surrounded by the freedom that I've been calling in, top of the head, the abundance, the community, eyebrow point. She has everything she needs. Side of the eyes. I see her now so clearly. Eyes. And I am declaring under the nose and choosing to be her now. Under the mouth. There is no separation. Collarbone points. Starting now, effective immediately. Under the arms, I am choosing that identity. Under the chest, I am the woman I've been waiting for. Wrist point, I no longer wait or wonder. Top of the head, or try to figure anything out. Eyebrow point, I assume this identity now. Side of the eyes, and I take action. Under the eyes, I'm excited to get to work. Under the nose, making my dreams real. Under the mouth, helping other people to live their best life. Collarbone points, and getting paid while I show my babies the world. Under the arms, by being the best of me. Underneath the chest, I can see the clients and students in my world. Wrist point, I can feel the excitement. Top of the head, I can see the money flowing through my bank account. Eyebrow point, and this feels, how does it feel? Side of the eyes, I am declaring under the eyes that this is my reality. Under the nose, this is all happening for me now. Under the mouth, and it's happening so fast. Collarbone points. I no longer need to wait. Under, because I know that I choose the speed at which I move. Under the chest, I'm open and ready to receive. Wrist points, and I am magnetic. Okay, so it is. It's all happening. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Take it and close the eyes. And exhale through the straw. Just take one more breath like this. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And you can, of course, write down anything that came up for you. I love tapping because it shows us our potential limitations. If there's something we say and the mind or the body kind of like tenses, or the mind throws something at us, like an old thought or a belief or an idea, if we want to move faster, create different results, all we need to do is basically prove the mind that that belief is wrong. Okay, so if something comes up, if we're like, can see the money coming through my bank account and the mind is like, what money? You have no money, for example. Then we can actually write, I like to write it down and show the mind what's actually possible. And sometimes that looks like actually hypothetically writing out numbers for, say, a program or one-on-one coaching and say, look, mind, if I was to sell 5 spots in my one-on-one coaching or my one-on-one hybrid with my group container, then I would have X amount of money. Then the mind can start to perceive this as being a possibility. So all of those resistance pieces that come up during tapping is like communicating with the subconscious mind, those deep-rooted beliefs, all of them that come up and show up specifically through tapping or in any situation in our life, anything we're going through or something triggers us on the street, it's all information and an opportunity for us to unpack it and over and reprogram it with something else. That is how we change our results, is from that deep rooted place. Okay. And then of course, Wallace D. Wattles, our thoughts of magnetic power that draws everything we desire to us. Our actions is what makes us open to receive. We take action and we do the things, oh my gosh, that we've been putting off for so long. Okay, so I hope this landed for you today. I am so excited about everything that you're creating. Tomorrow is the last call and is an extra special one. We're going to talk more about embodiment, of course. We're going to talk about the nervous system, like I mentioned. We're going to talk about holding more and expanding our capacity to receive. I also want to talk a little bit more about money, okay? Because money is, like I said, often a big topic in my community. Okay, and then I'm going to give you some calls to action tomorrow so that we can continue to roll this snowball we've been making and this momentum that's been happening, and so that you can literally blast off, okay, with this business. Okay, you are all amazing. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. I will post the replay on the replays page and some of these journal prompts in the whatever caption below it. And I will see you same time, same place tomorrow. Okay, go have a beautiful day. And I'm so proud of you. Keep going. See you tomorrow.